In the first part of our minivan life test trip, we started the engine on our newly converted minivan camper to test out our new home on wheels. Camping has become seemingly more popular in Canada due to COVID, and because we booked last minute, we had to settle for an expensive private campground. Made dinner on our brand new camp stove.
Still haven't unpackaged it yet.
After removing the packaging, and slept on our 4-inch thick foam bed.
Good night.
This is definitely one of the most memorable ways I've made coffee, out the back of our minivan with the tailgate up. After morning coffee, we drove down to Black Creek Provincial Park, where after a short rain delay, we finally got a taste of what minivan life has to offer.
It stopped raining, which can only mean one thing.
Black Creek Provincial Park is essentially just a long sandy beach here on Lake Huron, and honestly I found it just by looking on Google Maps, and it ended up being the perfect place to come and spend an afternoon. The sand is like a nice golden brown and the views from the bay here are incredible. Turned out to be a really nice day after waiting out the rain. It's about 25, 26 degrees and the sun is shining.
We were the only ones here waiting it out in the rain for probably like 45 minutes or so, and then as soon as the rain started to dissipate, it was like the masses flooded in. There's like 1 or 2 cars to start with, and now the entire beach is packed, which I don't blame them. It's really private. It's super beautiful outside. All the cottagers coming in on their boats. Some of them are coming in on fishing boats, and then others are coming out in canoes and kayaks. And I have to say, that would be an awesome way to spend the afternoon.
I really wish we could camp here for the night, but unfortunately this park is only a day use park, and we have a really early morning tomorrow. We're gonna head back, set up camp, have dinner, and make sure we get a good night's sleep.
Pick up your trash, friends. And stop drinking from water bottles. There's plenty good water here in Canada.
All right, boss, what's for dinner?
Cucumbers. Tonight we're having one of our favorite meals, which is gnocchi with just a plain simple tomato sauce. Of course, we had to bring Parmesan cheese. I mean, you can't have pasta without cheese. This is probably one of the easier meals you could make, considering gnocchi only takes 2 minutes to boil, and then you just need to fry it up a little bit and add some sauce. But it is so good, and we had some left over at home, so we could not resist having it.
We've had this gnocchi before many times.
Like once a week.
We already know this is gonna be good.
It is one of my favorite meals.
And honestly, it doesn't really need anything.
Although this is the simplest way we could prepare it. There's many very delicious ways that you can eat it.
Who needs anything else? There's enough talking, not enough eating. If Van Life Canada is even like a 10th as nice as what we saw today, I think we're both going to enjoy this van life thing.
There's a lot of things we're looking forward to seeing. Today has just made me even more excited to see them.
We've had dinner and we just started our fire. I think the plan for tomorrow is we're hoping to go see the Grotto. There is one caveat, however. You have to actually reserve a parking spot to go into the Grotto. And because the national park's operating at 50% capacity, yeah, no chance.
We're gonna try out a parking lot that's about 3 to 4 kilometers away from the grotto, and then hiking in, which is supposed to be one of the alternative ways to be able to get into the grotto. We're not really sure if it's gonna work yet.
If it doesn't work, the hope is that we're still gonna get an incredible hike along the bluffs. All right, see you tomorrow, guys. I think I can speak for both Kirsten and myself when I say that is the best that we have ever slept in the bush. We got smart last night and we slept in our sleeping bags, which made sure that when we woke up in the morning, we were the perfect temperature. The downside to all of this is that we slept for 10 hours. We are a little late getting going, although before we pack up our site, which is pretty much already packed up because our site's in the van. Before we move out, we have to retry our hand at making coffee. We don't want it to be that same weak crap that we had yesterday morning. I don't know, the coffee still doesn't taste quite right for some reason. And honestly, I'm not really sure. It's still a little acidic. It's not very strong. We got something to figure out here because this can't fly. Speaking of flying, it's about time that we finish cleaning up our site and get on the road.
After leaving the campsite and coming a couple kilometers down Highway 6, we took a pretty unassuming side road down to the halfway log dump. I think I'm saying that right. It's a parking lot that branches off into a couple different trails, one of which leads to the Grotto, which is what we're gonna try and do today. We've got a 1 kilometer easy trail up to the Bruce Trail, and then we're gonna take one that leads along the peninsula. There's a couple bugs out. I think we should be okay in comparison to our Algonquin journey. There was quite a lot of potholes on our way down. The roads were very snaky. It made for quite an interesting trip here.
Well, we found the east side of the Bruce Peninsula here, and we have an incredible view. I really wish we could fly the drone up here, but we're in a national park, so it's not gonna happen. Wow, incredibly beautiful, isn't it?
I could not be more impressed by this. You can see all around us these massive cliffs that are built up that you'd obviously not want to get too close to.
Beautiful though.
It is gorgeous. I cannot believe how blue the water is. Like for Ontario Lake water, it is so crystal clear.
I see why they rate this part of the hike as extremely difficult. It's essentially just like climbing up the side of the Georgian Bay Bluffs, over rocks, over tree roots. The good news is we're essentially professional bushwhackers now after the Algonquin experience.
I guess this is why people get hiking poles.
This trail is actually quite a bit steeper than it looks like on camera, and the rocks are very slippery. I think I should put the camera away. How's this for a view?
Holy crap, we are so high up. We're like 200-300 feet off the ground. It's a long, long way down.
And it's like a straight drop onto jagged rocks. Honestly, I don't even care if we don't get into the grotto today. This view is totally worth it on its own.
The weather today is amazing. It's like, what, 25-ish and overcast and a light breeze, which is just perfect for hiking. The trail's a bit busy this morning, and it's hard to blame people. After a rainy day yesterday, I'm sure that's why everyone's out today. We're sharing the trail with some families and some groups of people visiting from Quebec. We've been hiking for probably about an hour and a half now, but we finally found a path that looks like it leads down to the water, which has me very hopeful that we've actually made it to the grotto.
As it turns out, we hadn't reached the grotto because the pathway we found led us down a rocky beach, back up the side of the Georgian Bay Bluffs, and down across another rocky beach before finally reaching the grotto. We found out about this alternate route from a Reddit comment that did not mention how difficult it was. We really underestimated it. The grotto is a natural sea cave that is the result of years of erosion on the bluffs. The main attraction is a little cave through the rocks that you could climb down in during the pre-COVID era. The grotto might be the most popular thing to do on the entire Bruce Peninsula, so it came as no surprise that we were not the only tourists visiting. There was also a couple taking their engagement photos here. How cute. The grotto itself is one of those unique natural wonders that it's always nice to see, but ultimately we feel as if we enjoyed the views just as much from the top of the bluffs and from the rocky beaches as we did from the grotto.
We have been blown away by the response to our Minivan series so far. Thank you guys so much for all the comments, the likes, the messages. We do our best to read every single one of them and respond to them as we can, and we appreciate it so much. It's hard to believe, but we've been on YouTube for almost a year now. We're gonna have a Q&A to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, so leave a comment down below with your question, send us a direct message on Instagram, or you can also comment back on our community post with your question. Anyways, our van is almost packed and it's time to hit the road. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!